story before we go into the fun half here. Apparently, and this is sort of funny. No, I'm sorry. This is totally funny. So apparently this guy, Jack Burkman, and if I remember correctly, I think I've done some TV with this guy about 10 years ago. He was on like CNBC, and he was arguing something to the effect of like there was no deep throat or something to it was fake or this guy is a little bit off the wall.
He had an alternative theory about Mark Felt.
Yeah, like right before Mark Felt like actually was revealed. Like it was or something that it was a lie that Woodward and Bernstein had said all along that it wasn't Mark Felt, so it couldn't be Mark Felt. But he had an announcement that he posted. What was this? When did he post this? The other day?
Yeah, this was when they announced this.
This is a couple of days ago. And this is pretty big stuff. You can understand why he is not in his studio. He probably does a show not unlike this one, but with probably far more big dollar backing than we get and far less viewers. But here he is. He's out and about. He's got a Starbucks coffee and his North Face Parker on, and here we go.
Hey guys, Jack Burkman here. As you can see, I'm not in the Behind the Curtain studio. Rather, I'm here at my favorite Starbucks.
The name of his show is Behind the Curtain.
I think I argued with this guy on that I-24 channel.
Very possible.
Rather, I'm here at my favorite Starbucks in Arlington, Virginia, right near Arlington National Cemetery, where we often broadcast. Remember, if you like us on Facebook, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Thursday will be a sad but hopefully very hopeful day. On Thursday, high noon, at the Holiday Inn right here in Arlington, Virginia, right behind me, only about 1,000 yards that way, we will unveil the first of the sex assault victims of Robert Mueller. It turns out, as many of you know, Robert Mueller is a bad guy, not just because of what he does in the courtroom, but because of what he does outside of the courtroom. Robert Mueller has done bad things to a number of women, the first of whom is coming out this Thursday, high noon. She will unveil a very bad sexual assault, and more to come.
Pause it 1 second. She's going to unveil a very bad sexual assault?
At high noon.
It's going to be like Warhol.
She will unveil a very bad sexual assault, and more to come. We've interviewed many. The investigation is ongoing. This isn't something I take any delight in. It's something I wish I didn't have to do, but my viewers and the American people need the truth. Remember, if you like us on Facebook, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Thanks. We'll see you next time on Behind the Curtain.
So the funny thing about this story, and don't forget, you can get the Majority Report on iTunes or anywhere you get your podcast. So it turns out that this story about women who are coming out to charge Robert Mueller with some type of sexual assault has been pitched to a lot of reporters. And somebody got word that one of the women had been paid a significant amount of money to claim that she was sexually assaulted by Robert Mueller. And it turns out that, and now you got to follow here, this is a little bit tricky. Apparently, this guy, Jack Burkman, got this information from an intelligence agency, one of the private intelligence agencies that are out there. I'm sure you're all aware of these. One of them is entitled Surefire Intelligence. Now, you know that they get their intelligence is always correct because they're Surefire.
Sounds like an agency for like kid spies that you would find when you're like 11. Surefire.
We could call it Surefire.
You call it Surefire. I watched Top Gun. Now let's go figure out who stole the milk.
And so it turns out that they went to a couple reporters. I guess one of these guys, Krasenstein, who has some type of like a blog.
Apparently called Hill Reporter.
Hill Reporter. So he's not a reporter for the Hill, but it's always written as Hill's reporter, Robert Krasenstein, which
That's
I think
so
is
awesome.
so brilliant. Anyways, to this guy's credit, he looked into this Surefire intelligence. And when he did, afterwards, according to NBC News, Krasenstein said he reached out to the special counsel's office on Tuesday, telling them what he knew about the scheme. Now, Burkman, you should also know, was one of those guys who was involved in pitching conspiracy theories about Democratic staffer Seth Rich. Now, that could happen. That, of course, is a transpartisan endeavor. But leaving that aside for a moment. So Krasenstein told NBC News that he told the special counsel. The special counsel has now referred this to the FBI. Krasenstein also gave NBC News the phone numbers used by the woman alleging she was offered money to make the allegations. Both of them were disconnected. The woman allegedly worked at the law firm Pillsbury, Madison, and Sutro at the same time as Mueller in 1974. Reporters say, and there are multiple reporters who received this, said that she was supposed to claim the misconduct took place during that period. Now, a couple of things. One, the date in which that misconduct supposedly took place was a date that it just so happens that Robert Mueller was serving on a jury. NBC News gave the woman's name to a spokesperson for the law firm, which is now called Pillsbury, Winthrop, Shaw, Pittman, and the spokesperson said, we have no record of this individual working for our firm. So it's unclear what was going on here, whether they were trying to both get mileage out of the accusation 5 days before the election and then discredit the news outlets that reported on it by making the whole thing fall apart like a twofer. These guys are top notch. But let's look into this Surefire intelligence. It turns out that Jacob Wall, who is a disgraced hedge fund manager,
It's a bit redundant.
turned pro-Trump conspiracy theorist, turns out is the main impetus behind Surefire intelligence. This is what Burkman, Jack Burkman said when Krasenstein called Burkman. And Wall tweeted that day, several media sources tell me that a scandalous story about Mueller is breaking tomorrow. Should be interesting. Stay tuned. So somebody reached Wall by direct message on Twitter. Wall denied having a hand in any plot to pay women making false allegations against Mueller. I don't have any involvement in investigations of any kind. I'm not quite that cool.
That's a
Surefire intelligence sounds pretty cool. Now, Wall is just a writer. He writes for Gateway Pundit, which is a right-wing blog that also is a huge conspiracy theory trafficker. And in fact, at Gateway Pundit, they had access to, according to them, exclusive documents about a very credible witness, which they were going to release in this Mueller scandal. Are people being able to follow what I'm saying here? So this Surefire intelligence provided this information to Jack Burkman. And this guy, Jacob Wall, supposedly was involved with Surefire intelligence, claims he wasn't. He is a writer for Gateway Pundit. They were going to have these exclusive documents. And then NBC did a little investigation. His email is listed, Jacob Wall's, in the domain records for Surefire Intelligence website. That's weird. To be completely uninvolved with an outfit and have registered their website, particularly when you're not like
man. Soros is good.
a website. Oh, it's so good. Here's the other part. Wall stopped responding to NBC News after being told that NBC News found that Surefire's official phone number redirects to Jacob Wall's mother's voicemail. So then what happens is somebody starts to investigate not only does it find that the online presence is redirects to Jacob Wall's email address, they looked at the pictures of Matthew Cohen, who's a managing partner at Surefire Intelligence.
It's a beautiful name.
Yeah. Now, his image is like just a silhouette. You can see that on top.
It's a standard spy
Right.
image.
But apparently, Jacob Wall does not realize that there are things called reverse image lookup on the web. And it brought up a picture of Jacob Wall, which looks almost identical to the picture of Matthew Cohen, except for it looks like there were two pictures, one where the light was turned on and one where the light was turned off. But you could see the silhouette there. But it's not only that Jacob Wall's pictures on there. Let's look at some of the other officials at Surefire Intelligence. Oh, we don't have that. Well, it turns out like their managing partner has a striking resemblance to an Israeli supermodel. It turns out that their chief of operations has a striking resemblance to a photographer and other male model. In fact, all of the pictures on the website of Surefire are fake ones.
Isn't
via
there one
LinkedIn.
of the actor Christoph Waltz? as
That's
well?
right. He is their chief investigator in Zurich, apparently.
Wow, multi-talented
Yeah,
guy.
here we go. Here is the Surefire Intelligence Tel Aviv station chief. She happens to be yeah, she just happens to be. Now, to be fair, these are great covers for intelligence, private intelligence officials. It's just that you don't want to blow their cover on your LinkedIn profile.
These are very high-placed assets.
Yes.
And Wool just burned all of
He
the-
burned
just
all of
burned
them.
Bar Raffaele.
So,
How's she going to make a living as only a model now?
Burkman is apparently still holding his press conference as of today, but Gateway Pundit has decided they're not going to release these exclusive documents quite yet. They're going to check out the situation. In fact, I think what they said at the end was, let's see. Gateway Pundit has now posted a message on its site that says, earlier today, we were given information on accusations against former FBI Director Robert Mueller. We took the documents down and are currently investigating these accusations. There are also serious allegations against Jacob Wall. We're also looking into this.
Looking into it, gonna figure out what the hell's going
Gonna
on.
figure it
gotta
out.
figure out what
We're
the
gonna figure it
hell's
out.
going
It's
on.
been hard. It's been tough stuff.
I put the cover up.
Wow. Don't we love Bar Raffaele?
She is so good and such one of our best intelligence people that we have. One of our best private intelligence people.
It's amazing, Christopher Wallace. He's so good pretending he's intelligence in the movie.
And they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it.
That's right. That's probably true.